If you're looking for a solution on how to store all of your vlog photos and YouTube videos, I'm going to share with you my quick tip on how I store all of my photos so that I can quickly edit whenever I'm sitting down and trying to be creative, as well as minimize the delay that you normally get whenever you have tons and tons of files when they have huge file sizes like 20 to 30 megabytes a piece. And so what I want to share with you is my solution on how I'm able to quickly edit and cull photos as well as edit YouTube videos so that it minimizes the delay that everyone hates when they're editing photos and videos. So stay tuned. If you guys don't already know, I'm a lifestyle blogger and a mom blogger, and so I take a lot of photos of home decor projects, DIY projects, as well as like motherhood photos and all that stuff, and I store a ton of photos, especially raw files that I use with my 5D Mark III. This is the camera that I use. It's my trusty 5D Mark III. I was a wedding and family photographer, so I used this for quite a long time, about probably 4 or 5 years now. When I bought it, this thing was about $3,500. I know DSLRs have gone down a lot in price. What I'm shooting this video on is the M50, and so this is the 5D Mark III. Even though it does video, I purely use it for photos, especially when I need that bokeh, that blur in the background. And so this is my trusty camera. I always have a 24 L lens on it, and so it is a pretty expensive setup. I didn't start with this, guys. I started with like a 50D camera, which is a super old like DSLR that I started off with for about 2 or 3 years until I kind of upgraded to this. What I'm trying to basically get at is whenever I take photos with this thing, because it's a hoss and a beast, each photo is about 25 megabytes. And so when I take photos for the blog, I normally will cull through all of the images that I take, and I take hundreds of photos at any given project. And so what I do is I cull through, keep the ones that are pretty solid. Any image that I basically export to my website is 100 kilobytes, but I keep the 25 megabyte raw file. And the reason why I do that is because in the future, if I wanted to optimize the post, or I wanted to add images, or I wanted to use it in a completely different post, I have the ability to do that. And so when I keep those photos, it is a huge storage issue. And so what I do is, if you guys have checked out my videos on my network attached storage, I'll normally transfer all of my archive files to my network attached storage as Synology. It's the DS1815. I'll go ahead and link down below to the video on that as well. So I have the MacBook Pro. It's a 2019, and the downside of my MacBook Pro, because I bought it used, was that it only has 500 gigabytes worth of storage, and so that is not enough for me. I know that sounds really crazy, but I generally need about 2 terabytes if I'm going to have a laptop. But thankfully, there are options that I was able to use in order to kind of extend the storage that I have on my laptop. This is the Samsung portable SSD T5. They also have a recent version that will use your finger to basically secure your hard drive so that no one unintentionally takes stuff off of your hard drive. Back in the day, I actually used this Lacy machine, but now this is a backup storage device that I use. But the difference between this SSD, the solid state drive, versus this one is that it has a mechanical mechanism. And so the concern around just traditional hard drives is that they have a mechanical mechanism that just spins, and that's actually what is on my Synology device. And so because I move this around a lot, I really wanted a solid state drive. The con is that this thing right here, this SSD, is more expensive than this one by almost double. And I know year after year the cost of these things go down, but this thing, when I originally bought it, was about $150, and so they're really inexpensive now. I'll go ahead and link out to what I would recommend or what I would buy if I were upgrading my setup. So here's my tip for using the SSD with your MacBook. I have a command strip on the back of each of these, and that's how I stick this thing onto my laptop. Normally it doesn't move, it's great. The thing that I will recommend that you do is actually don't use the cord that comes with the Samsung SSD. Get one that has the angle, okay? The reason why is that I actually used the one that had the angle for about a year, and then I was putting it in my bag whenever I was traveling and taking it places, and I don't travel very often, but when I put it in the backpack just like this, even though I think you should just remove it and then attach it when you come back, because I'm kind of sloppy with all of my technology, I just put it in a bag because I'm just in a hurry. This thing actually fell apart. I would recommend getting the angled cord for this, and I'll go ahead and link to the one that I got. The reason why is when you open your laptop, okay, if you had the other plastic version, I saw that it would twist quite a bit, and so each time I opened up the laptop, it would basically almost like a wire, like you would be like twisting it, and then finally it just completely broke. And so what I would recommend is getting a cloth one that's angled, and I think that will minimize that ever happening again. So that was pretty horrible. I was kind of in shock whenever it happened. Like I didn't realize what I was doing with my laptop whenever I was opening it back and forth. Like literally I was just like kind of twisting it, and then finally it gave way and tore. So when I hook this up, this SSD hard drive is actually a cloud folder for my Synology. So it's always backing up to my Synology device, which is amazing. But what it allows me to do is be able to have the file locally. So whenever I'm editing my files on my computer, what I'm actually doing is essentially editing it from this hard drive. My raw files actually go on this SSD. And so I don't have any copy on my actual local hard drive. It's all on this SSD. In terms of speed for photos, it's amazing. You guys know that I have no patience. And so what I hate is whenever like I'm editing photos in Lightroom and it's slow to come up. So I try to get at least the fastest hard drive as I can and the most RAM on a computer that I can. And then what I found with this SSD hard drive is that whenever I'm editing photos, it's perfect. I can edit photos without any slowness or delay. In terms of video, I also store it on this SSD hard drive. And sorry about this light. This light is kind of insane. It keeps going in and out. It's kind of a rainy day, so just a heads up there. In terms of video, this SSD is really amazing when it comes to being able to just edit from it. It is awesome. I know that I can do 2x speed and edit that way in Adobe Premiere Pro, but at 3x speed, it does have a hard time keeping up. Those are my tips for having an SSD hard drive hooked up to your MacBook Pro. If you guys like videos like this, go ahead and give me a like and subscribe to my channel and click the bell to get notifications next time I create new videos. Thanks guys, bye.